Hi, and thank you for joining Stamp with Lisa Brown on my SAVI Sunday. And today I'm going to show you 6 things that you can do with a 6x6 designer series paper stack. And today's focus is going to be on the 2020-2022 In-Color stack. So as you can see here, these are all of our new In Colors: Magenta Madness, Misty Moonlight, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, and Bumblebee. And in our stack, you get 40 sheets of paper. Each paper has 4 designs. So on this side is like a wood grain, and on the reverse side are all these little words. And it's in multiple different languages, but it does say something like to love what we do and share what we love, and that is Stampin' Up's motto. So they printed their motto throughout the paper in different languages. This one has like a grunge pattern to it. I like it a lot. Almost like a denim, like it's a lot of crisscrossy like little grunge pattern on there. And then on the opposite side of that is this polka dot. So as you can see, all 4 colors come the same way. Misty Moonlight has all the exact same patterns. And like I said, they come in all 5 of the new In Colors, and it comes in a package of 40 sheets of paper. So for our first card, we're going to focus on Just Jade. So we're going to use Just Jade as our card base. And we're going to fold this in half. And so the first thing that you can use your 6x6 paper for is just have it as your background focal point. So I'm going to put down a piece of Whisper White cardstock. And then I'm gonna put a piece of the grunge Just Jade designer series paper on top of that. Okay, got some adhesive over here. Okay, now I'm just taking the opposite side of it, and I'm going to turn my card this way, and I'm going to mount this in the middle just for a little dimension on it. And I think I'm going to put that on with some dimensionals. Let me get that off so I can see the pattern. So I'm using one pattern on one side, and I'm using the other pattern for my center strip. Let me get my pick tool with my little poker so I can peel these off real easily. Okay. And we're going to lay that right across the center. Okay. And then I've already pre-cut a label. This is from the So Sentimental and Stitched So Sweetly. This is a bundle. Great words. We're going to use several tonight, and these are the Stitched So Sweetly dies, and this is a whole rectangle, and they're scalloped and stitched, and these are all little banners, and they are made to fit in the So Sentimental stamp set. So I've already gone ahead and pre-done that on Whisper White. You can see the stitching on that label. And I think we're going to go ahead and adhere that with some dimensionals as well, giving that a little bit of depth. Okay. I'm just going to put that right in the middle. Get my my dimensional backings out of the way. All right, and then we have our in-color enamel dots. As you can see, I've been heavily using them. All of the brown and cinnamon cider and misty moonlight are gone. I have some Just Jade on here, and so I'm going to pick up a couple of those and put them on my card. So just making, I love monochromatic cards. And I think I'm just going to do the two. Very simple card. All right, so then for our inside, first thing we can do is using our designer series paper as our full background and our focal point. And then when you're cutting up this designer series paper, so this is all from one sheet, and I have this strip left over. So I have a piece of Whisper White that's going to go on the inside of my card, and you can do one of two things. You can put a strip of this down across the bottom, or you can put a strip over on the side. I think I'm going to go ahead because that's like cut perfectly for that down there. So I'm going to add this to the bottom, and it just carries a little bit of the design to the inside of the card. And actually, I think I'm going to leave a little white strip at the bottom. There. Now this is ready to have a sentiment stamped on it and adhered into my card. So using paper as a focal, and then using your extra pieces to accent on the inside. Those are my first two tips for you today. Okay, moving on. All right, so the next thing is using your designer series paper as a die cut. And for this project, I have chosen the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. It is available in the annual catalog for 10% off, and you get this great stamp set and all of these dies. I've pre-cut my dies just on some non-Stampin' Up! Paper, just some scrap paper, and I put them in here. I cut them to the size of the packet so that it fits in there, and that way it's an easy reference for me to see my dies. Otherwise, all I have is this label thing with a name up here. So what I did was, we're going to use a cinnamon cider card base. And we're going to, again, use a Whisper White piece of paper. And I'm going to take my Just Jade ink pad. And we're going to stamp a sentiment, which could explain why I had a sentiment already preset and I put it away. So here, we'll just do this one right here. It's called Let's Celebrate You. And we're going to stamp this right up here. Nice. Okay. I'm really liking the Just Jade. It's just a little bit darker. It comes out just a little bit darker, a little bit more green than what is printed on the front of the stamp pad. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and adhere that to our card. And then I took the dies from the sunflowers, and I used my designer series paper and die cut those out. I die cut the sunflower and the detailed sunflower. So what I grabbed those from is, I used that same grunge bumblebee, and I cut out the outline of the sunflower. And then in the cinnamon cider, I took the word paper, and I die cut out the detailed die of that. Okay. And that is going to get glued and laid right over. Now I had this aligned, but I lost my alignment. So let me see if I can get this going here. All right, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to take some Tombow liquid glue, and I'm just going to put some glue back here. Okay. Yeah. And there's my sunflower. Then I took the wood grain in the Just Jade, and I die cut out some leaves. And I also die cut these same ones on the wood grain in the cinnamon cider. So we're going to go ahead and put those down. All right. Oops, I just bent that. Just going to use a little bit of Tombow on the back of the leaves here. And I want one coming up in this direction. I even like the words. It's the word paper on the other side of it. Yeah, we're gonna lay this over here like that. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing going down on the bottom. So just a different way to use up some of your designer series paper. You can just use them as for the die cutting. Put a little. Okay. I think I want that one coming over. We'll have that one come over this way. All right. And then I did do a couple of leaves. I think I want this big leaf over here. Just peeking out a little bit behind my sunflower. And I think I want two of the little leaves coming out up here, poking out up here. Just go like that. And if they get covered up, they get covered up. There we go. Just a little peek of some of those leaves. All right. And then, let's see. Why don't we dimensional that on as well? We'll put one in the middle. Okay, pick those off. Okay. And let's see, how about if we use some of our enamel dots on here too? I think I'm going to use a couple of the bumblebee. And I think I'm going to use, here's my other ones so you can see all the colors. I think I'm going to do a couple of cinnamon cider. I think that one there. Let's see, and we'll put one more up there. Great. Isn't that cute? Like that. So the only thing we stamped was the Let's Celebrate You. Everything else was die cut from designer series paper. Okay. Let's see. The next one is using our designer series paper with punches. So I've already kind of preempted this a little bit, same as the other ones. And this one is featuring the Basket of Blooms stamp set. What a great stamp set. You can really build this up with all the flowers and the basket and the vase. Now this does not have dies with it, but these images are really easy to fussy cut out, and it coordinates with the blossom punch that was a carryover from Celebration. So this punch punches out these two flowers here. However, what I have done is I've punched out of our designer series paper, and I did 3 different patterns from the Magenta Madness. So we're going to use a Magenta Madness card base. I took the vase stamp and I stamped it in black memento, and I used my Misty Moonlight blend alcohol markers, these right here, and I colored in my vase, and then I just took some random images of stems and leaves from the Basket of Blooms stamp set, and I masked off on my vase. I will show you. I stamped a vase on a piece of sticky note, a post-it note, and then I placed it over my vase and stamped all of my greenery on there. So I get that alignment, and then I stamped my greenery so that when I remove my sticky note, everything is nice and clean. So I'm going to put that in my stamp case and keep that for future use. So this one's going to be clean and simple. And like I said, I punched 3 flowers out using the blossom punch on the designer series paper. So I used the polka dot background, the words, and that little grunge. So I'm gonna, and then I have mini dimensionals on the back, and we're gonna dimensional them onto our card. And I'm thinking right now, I think I might want one flat, but let's see. I'm gonna put a flower over here. I'm gonna put a polka dot up here, and we're gonna put this one over here. Yeah, I'm okay with them all being popped. And to bling them up, I'm gonna put a rhinestone in the center of those flowers. Okay. I've used our classic label punch, and I punched out a piece of Magenta Madness, so that's going to go on there. And then I have a scrap piece of Whisper White, and from the Itty Bitty Greetings, I'm going to select a greeting. Let's see. How about, oh my goodness, there's so much to choose from. How about a little hello? I like that. Let's do a little hello. Okay. Peel that off. Somewhere on my table I have a little mini block, but I can't see it right now, so I'm going to use this bigger one. Okay, and let's see, I think we're going to ink it in Magenta Madness. No, I changed my mind. We're going to do Misty Moonlight. We're going to do the blue. So we're going to ink that up, and I'm going to try that one more time. It's a little tiny stamp, so sometimes they can be a little, there we go, that's better. Just like to have a nice impression there. Okay. Take our label punch. And we're going to punch out a little hello. Add some glue to that. And we're going to offset that onto here, just so it stands out a little. And okay, use a couple of our mini dimensionals to stick that on. Okay, so this is tip number 4, using a punch with our designer series paper. How about if we put it, I think we're going to put it down here. A little hello, just nice and simple. Okay. Let's see. Our next one is embossing. And for this one, I took the new Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. So it has a real fun pattern. And I took my Misty Moonlight and I pressed it on my folder like this. I laid my designer series paper in the folder and I ran it through my machine, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bring my machine out right now, but it's going to press that down. And then what it does is it changes or alters the look of the paper. Now I like it just like this, but mine, I actually ran through my machine, so I got a lot more detail. So this is that grunge paper, and it puts the ink into there. So for this card, we got a Misty Moonlight base. I'm using the Bumblebee Designer Series paper, and I have the word part going facing up. Okay, I'm going to adhere my Designer Series paper to a piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to glue this because when I ran it through the embossing folder, it made it real fragile. It put all these little holes in it, and I'm afraid if I use my tape runner, it'll just tear the paper off of it. So we'll just use liquid glue. Okay. I mean, and it just totally altered the look of that grunge paper altogether. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like after. I ran it through the embossing folder with some ink. And we're going to adhere that to our card. Oh, I wanted to put some ribbon behind there, darn it. Let's see. Let's see if we can. Well, maybe we just won't add ribbon today. I used another set of words from the So Sentimental. And we're just going to put that across. I used the Celebrate Sunflowers. I die cut in Misty Moonlight, and then I stamped this image and die cut this one out, and I colored it with my blends. This is Mango Madness, Just Jade, and Cinnamon Cider blends. And we're going to glue that onto here. We're just going to offset it a little bit, so it kind of gives it like a shadow. And I put some dimensionals on the back already. Peel those off. Okay. And let's see, I think we want it, I think I'm going to make it go this way. And then we have our little wood elements. That come with the In Good Taste bundle. But I'm going to take my Just Jade and I'm going to take a sponge dauber and I'm going to make these green. I'm going to just add a little bit of green coloring to them. No, it doesn't have to be completely solid. And then I will adhere these on, but I'm going to add them onto my card, but they stay wet for a few minutes. So for the sake of the video, I'll just stick them in there just to show you as I'm getting ink all over my finger. Okay, set that aside. All right. And then this one is going to go down here. So that's what that one's going to look like. So that's you embossing your paper. So for the last card is inking or coloring your designer series paper. And what I did here is we're using a thick Whisper White card base. I am using a piece of the Misty Moonlight Designer Series paper. I used a sponge brayer and I sponged ink across. I did it in 3 colors, and those colors are, I started out with Seaside Spray. So that's the lightest up here. Then I went to Misty Moonlight, and then I went to Night of Navy, and that's my darkest part down here. I wanted an ombre effect on the paper. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and adhere that to our card base. And then I'm going to adhere a rectangle piece of Whisper White on top. This one down here wants to give me trouble. All right, so we're going to go ahead and line this up in the center. Okay. And then actually I cut a piece of designer series paper from our 6x6 for every season. What beautiful paper is in there. Oh my goodness.